It's a very cold and frosty morning this morning, but we're taking the Audi down for the MOT. We're hoping to get it back today with a pass. I'm fairly confident. We've done a hell of a lot of work on it. Let's see how it goes. So we've just drove down our yard, down to Volksmark, so doing our MOT for us. So we have good news, we've got the Audi back and it's a pass. We have got a clean pass on the MOT. The Audi now has a 12-month MOT on it, no advisories, we're all good. Now the MOT's been passed and she's ready to go, we're looking at all the cosmetic things. Just in the process of plastic coating the boot area plastics, which look very tatty because obviously it was used for a builder to put his tools in and sand and things in the boot. So we're going to tidy those up with some plastic coating. The rear centre trim's already out on the stand being done. So I'm going to show you a bit of a before and after. The middle one's already been done, but the outer ones you'll be able to see the improvement. So we've done the rear plastics. They look a little bit fresher. All the scratches and the dirt are gone. Just had the coating of like a texture. So once we've finished cleaning now, the boot will not look so bad. So we've cleaned all the apertures out, as you can see. It's looking a lot cleaner. Simple things, but we've gone around the tailgate area, on the actual tailgate and in the body aperture, giving it a good clean. Obviously we put the new struts on last week. The plastics were all damaged and scratched and horrible, so what we've done with those is we've done a bit of a cheap fix, not something I'd like to do normally, but we've sanded and prepped all the plastics, given them a coat of plastic primer, and then we've just given them a coating of like a textured plastic spray, which, yes, it's not perfect, but it does tidy things up ever so much compared to what they were. They did look horrendous before. Now they look at least a coat of black and the boot area is looking a lot tidier. Partial shelves now back in as well. Everything's looking nice and clean. We've also treated it to a set of 4D GB plates. Not to everybody's taste, but we do like the 4D plates. We make them in-house, so it doesn't cost us a great deal to do them. And I just think it freshens everything up a little bit. What a difference a clean makes. We're now on to the final video of Project Audi. I think it's video 7, part 7. The car's now sold, so we need to get it finished. One of our customers came in and decided that they wanted to buy it. So it's sold, all paid for. We're currently going to do the alignment just to make sure that it's driving nice and straight. And then we've got to work our way around polishing the whole car. We've got a door handle to paint. And we've also got the interior to finally ballot. So let's get on with it. As with all alignments, you have to clamp the steering wheel off straight. Make sure that it's nice and straight when you're driving. And as you can see, we've now got it set on 0.5mm both sides on the front, with a total toe of 1mm, which is well within the tolerance. Everything's nice and equal. Camber is in tolerance on this side, just on the edge of tolerance on that side, so just in, but there's no adjustment on the camber, so that is what it is. But the car will drive nice and straight and not wear the tyres. As you can see, prior to the adjustments, we were on -4.6 and +3.4. We're now nice and level. So it's always good to get an alignment done. We're now going to get on with the polishing. We're using our flex buffer, the new Cartex Rapid 4000 dustless compound, the orange pad. We're now going to start buffing. After buffing, the wings come up lovely. Black always tends to have swirl marks and things. I mean, it's far from perfect. This is the wing that had the PDR repair. but it's certainly got rid of all the scuffs and scrapes. Apart from those that will touch in, it's never going to be perfect. It is an old car, but once we've buffed and polished it, it will shine and look really nice. We're literally on the last thing we need to do. We've got some paint that's been jet washed off on the passenger rear door handle, so we're just going to quickly prep that and give that a quick paint. So one of the main things that you need to do when you're doing a repair like this is once you've prepped it, you need to use adhesion promoter like a plastic primer, otherwise you'll have exactly the same thing happen again. This has been prepped. I've taken it back and feathered out the edges of the black because you'd have an outline of where it had peeled if you don't feather it back further. So it's been taken back with 240 and then I've refined it a little bit with some 500. We're now literally one coat of plastic primer. That's all you need. Because we're not in the booth, I'm just sending it off with a heat gun. That is all you need for that. And then literally, we just build up a couple of coats of primer, and then I'm going to go and mix some paint and get the handle painted, and then the whole thing's finished. We have bagged up the whole car, because as we've just machine polished it all, we don't want to get any overspray on it. That would be counterproductive. As you can see, this is looking nice and smooth now. Doesn't need too much primer on it. I'm literally going to use an 800 prep disc just to go over the primer before we paint. One last coat. For small repairs like this, the heat gun helps a lot. Speeds up your drying times. Just ensures that you can do a fast repair. We're now going to use the camera to get a good colour match. The car's been buffed, so we can take it off the panel just under where we've repaired. It takes 5 measurements. Need to make sure it stays pressed on the panel. It takes 5 measurements to take an average. Then we can go and plug it in a mixing scheme upstairs and it'll mix us the correct colour. Bit difficult when I'm holding the poly up, to be fair. Usually use 2 hands to keep it on the panel because it has 3 feet on the bottom that have to be depressed. There we go. It's always more difficult when you're filming because you have less hands. You also don't want to make yourself look stupid, which I continually do. We will eventually get the 5 readings. There we go. It gives you a rating on the readings. So we've got 4 stars out of 5, which is good. I'll not use anything less than 4. We now input the registration because the job is logged on our system with the registration. Once we've inputted the registration in there, when we dock it on the system, it'll put the code to the correct one. It's a little bit hard to film in here. as we've got a light above the system, so it's glaring off it, so apologies for that. But we dock the Digimatch on the Touch Mitch Ultra. It's then assigned it to the registration number, and it's come up with Phantom Black. As you can see, we've got a 4 for a code, 4 for a rating for a mix, which is really good. Anything lower than 10 is blendable. As low as 4, you're going to have a really good match. Blacks tend to be a fairly easy match anyway on most blacks. So let's get the paint mixed and get the handle painted. So just going to feather the primer with a bit of grey scotch. That's enough. Don't really need to prep the primer as it's only just gone on. So as long as you work with it fairly quickly, you don't need to prep it, but I always like to key things up. For this small handle repair, we'll be using our Iwata minigun, the LPH80. It atomises things a little bit finer, so for a small repair like this, it makes the job nice and easy. We'll literally need probably 3 coats of base coat. They've been water based. If you don't use heat, it does take time to dry, a long time. You'll be able to see the shines disappearing as the heat gun's working the water out of the base coat. And then another coat. The heat gun speeds up this kind of job no end. There's no point firing the booth up and running a gas cycle and wasting money for such a small job. So we've got 3 coats of base on now, that should pretty much do it. When you're using water-based paint, you have to make sure that the base coat's fully dry, because if it's not, then your lacquer will just peel off. And then we'll do one slight more distance away. There we go. Now go and mix some lacquer. It's now time to put the clear coat on the handle. You should always use your respirator when using clear coat. Let's get on with it. We're using Deltron 8177 from PPG Clear Coat. So on this one, you put your first coat on, you leave it about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then put a second coat on. It's a small area smart repair clear coat. It's quite expensive because it's an air drying one, but obviously air drying out here, this is ideal for this job. Got a lovely finish, just need to leave this to dry. 20 minutes and it's touch dry and we can unmask it and then she's finished. We've got the project car finished, so it's a far cry from when we purchased it. She's now looking nice and sweet, wheels done, brakes done, whole car's been polished. It's definitely made a nice car. We've saved the car from being scrapped. Not that it should have ever really been scrapped. It's just that the money for the repairs was going to be more than what it was really worth if a customer was paying for it. It's been a long project, but we've brought it back from the dead. It's now a lovely car. This was going to be the point where we were trying to sell it, but we've already sold it. One of our customers has decided he wants it. He's already paid for it, so we needed to get it finished, so we've come in today on a Sunday to get it finished. We've done some finishing, polishing, a little bit of touch-ups, and she's now ready to go. She's looking absolutely beautiful. It is a 12-year-old car. For a 12-year-old car, she's polished up lovely. As you can see, she's looking stunning. Bodywork's not in too bad a condition. It's polished up nice. We did the alignment as well, so she drives nice and straight. Just need to clean the footwell out again from my feet. But she's turned out a beautiful motor that will go again for years to come. We are now looking for a new project, so if anybody has something else that thinks it'd work on our channel for a project, let us know. Needs to be a fairly desirable car and for not much money, because it needs to work financially for us as well. We're not a monetized channel, so we don't make anything off us videos, we just enjoy doing them. Hopefully eventually we will get monetized, but it's something that takes time. So if anybody has anything that they think we could use, it can be bodywork needed, mechanical needed, combination of both like this one. We can pretty much make anything work as long as the figures work out cost wise. We don't really need to make any money, we're happy to break even on things, but we just don't want to be losing money. So it is finished. Thanks for watching the videos that we've done on this, and watch out for the next one. If you've enjoyed this little video series on the Project Audi, we'd be welcoming anybody to add some comments on what they think of it, see how we've done with it. We'd also be happy if you could subscribe to the channel so you can see future things that we're doing. Subscriptions help us, it helps the algorithm. If you can share us videos, get your mates to watch them, we'd be very appreciative of that. So, it's all done. We'll see you on the next one.